Chris with Keller Williams Realty, and I've got a head for real estate. So, let's start with one of my favorite quotes here. This is what kind of motivates me. Before I get to that, I'm sure all of us have the days where we just don't want to do what we're supposed to do. And basically, there's two parts of what we're supposed to do all the time. Two parts of what we're supposed to do. We are, all of us here, are in the sales business with an emphasis on healthcare. We are in the sales business with an emphasis on law. I mean, we can be the best. Brent can be the absolute best attorney in the world. He can know everything. He can quote case law from 50 years ago, verbatim. But if he doesn't have any clients, it doesn't matter. And I would argue too that the more clients you have, coupled with your education and the research you do, the better attorney you become, or the better whatever specialty it is. So there are a lot of days where we don't feel like doing what we need to do to go out and look for that business. So this is something that I saw this recently in this book called The Slight Edge. It just kind of keeps me going when I don't want to do what I'm supposed to do. They don't build monuments to people who spend their lives worrying about what other people think. I mean, you think of it, I'm reading the Steve Jobs book right now. If he really worried about what everybody thought, there would be no Apple computer and there would probably not be any iPhone sitting on the desk here. So, one of the ways that I get business in the family, you already know this, one of the ways that I get business is I go out and I knock on doors. And there aren't a lot of days that I feel like knocking on doors. I mean, because, growing up, I was taught you don't want to bother people. So there are days I don't feel like doing that, but I also know that it's effective. So this one here in the family, you got this on your door. I have some buyers, and unfortunately Ray could not pre-qualify them because this lady is an executive at Union Bank, and as a result, she has to go with Union Bank for her mortgage pre-qual. But anyways, so they're looking for a house, primarily in Baywood or Parrot Park, and so I've knocked on, for the past 2 weeks, every single family home door in the Baywood Parrot Park area. I don't know how many homes there are. I want to say 700, 800, but I don't even know. So, but I've knocked on every door. In everybody's home, I say, hi, I'm Chris Eckert with Keller Williams Realty. I've got a family looking to buy a home in Baywood. Who do you know that's got a home like this to sell? And I've actually been invited in 5 homes to look at them for people to see if they would qualify for their homes. So number one, it's good from the standpoint of finding some for my buyers, and this does work. I have not found a home for them yet. We actually are writing an offer on a Steelfield Park home, which just got listed, so it wasn't a result of my door knocking, but I have found other properties knocking on doors for people in the property have not been listed and bought off on the property. So this kind of stuff does work. And also what it works for is there are people who say, boy, you really work hard for your buyers. I want to hire you to list my property. So I've got listings as a result. So a little blurb about the family on the back there. And then I've given this out before. It kind of tells you what's going on with the market. This is almost a little bit dated because some of the stuff has changed on here. Interest rates are still the same, or very similar. The for sale inventory is actually below normal. So let me give you, it's below what it's showing on here. Let me give you a little update on what's happening in the real estate market since the beginning of the year. If you look at, there were a lot of properties on the market last year that just sat. There were some properties that sat for the entire year last year that all of a sudden are starting to sell now and selling for a price that they were listed for a year ago. Normally that doesn't happen. It's almost like someone flipped the light switch and the market is really heated up. So to give you some statistics here, at the beginning of the year, these are single-family homes in the city of San Mateo. I track, and most real estate agents will track the list-to-sale price ratio, meaning if you list your home for $100, or let's say $1 million right here, you list your home for $1 million, what is it actually going to sell for? Beginning of January, was selling for about 97-point-something% of the asking price. You can see right now, as of into April here, we're above 103% of asking. Now, So we're looking at, it's about 6% change in the market. That is a very, very significant change. So that just shows you how fast the single-family home market has recovered and how prices are going up.
Yeah, that's the city of San Mateo, not San Mateo.
That is not San Mateo County, but if you look at San Mateo County as a whole, you're going to see very similar statistics. Now, if you look at some of the neighborhoods, for instance, East Palo Alto is in San Mateo County, they're still somewhat depressed, but those prices are going back up. As an example, there is an investor that I'm involved with now from Texas. He's actually a Keller Williams agent, real successful guy, extremely wealthy, and he bid with my help on 10 properties in San Mateo County, mostly in lower-end neighborhoods. Several of them were in East Palo Alto, and he got outbid on all of them. These are foreclosed properties that normally are selling for about 65 cents on the dollar, meaning I give him a value for the property, and then he bids on it, and it's 65 to 75% of the value, and then he can hire me to sell it, clean it up, flip it, and put it back on the market. He got blown out of the water. As a matter of fact, a lot of the properties sold at this auction for more than I told him the properties were. So either I'm dead wrong or there's something going on in the market that people are saying, I just want it. So he bid on 150 properties in Northern California and lost every single one of them because the market's getting bid up so much. So anyways, so regardless of the neighborhood, the stats are going to be very, very similar to this. So good recovery in the market. The condo market, it's similar to this. Condos typically trail the single-family home market a little bit. So we're not seeing 103% yet, but we're seeing close to 100% on the condo market. And again, that will start to get bid up too.
There was a condo in Redwood Shores on the Easter weekend. They were open and they had 80 groups through for a condominium, 2-bedroom, 2-bath,
Right.
for $500,000. So it's really getting crazy.
Well, so I told you about the door knocking for this client, and this property came on the market in San Mateo Park. Really fits these people's needs. Listed at just, I think, 1.495 million or something. It's a trust sale, so they can't actually take offers until this coming Monday. We are agonizing over the numbers to figure out how much over we have to go to get this thing. This is the 1.495. I think it could go as high as 1.7. Just given the number of people that have been through the property, the condition, the fact that it's very low inventory. So the markets have swung from one extreme to another. So it's challenging, but from a different perspective.
Chris, how much is the Facebook effect, do you think? Or?
Well, it's hard to say how much of it is the Facebook effect, but Facebook is, the threat of Facebook on the public is driving the market. This executive with Union Bank, they're doing a lot of mortgage loans against Facebook stock already.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have the young guys coming in doing the Porsches and the Ferraris and stuff, borrowing against Facebook stock to buy those. But they're already doing a lot of mortgage loans against it. So, just one more stat before I run out of time. Mid-Peninsula, very low inventory. Actually, this stat is just for the city of San Mateo as of last night. We normally would have 140 single-family homes for sale right now. As of last night, we had 61. So if you figure we have an increased demand and a decreased supply, of course that's going to push prices up. Here's another example. 66 single-family homes sold in the past 30 days in the city of San Mateo. Great. Only 34 new properties came on the market. So what does that mean? That means we are rapidly depleting inventory. And again, the pool of buyers is growing, supply is shrinking, it's going to drive prices up. So that's what's happening in the market right now. So we have a very, very rapid recovery. I'm calling everybody I know who owns a home and saying, if you're thinking about selling in the near future, now's probably the time to do it.
Interest rates what do you think is going to happen with them? Because that's one of the driving forces.
Right. I think they're going to stay low into next year.
As long as there's not this huge improvement in the economy, it'll stay low. That's typically what drives it. As if the economy gets better, then the rates will go up because of inflation and all that. But we think it's going to stay low for the next year.
Local buyers or out of town?
Mainly local buyers, but you are getting some buyers that come in primarily from Asia right now. Yeah, and I sold two so far this year, the Asian buyers, and you see a lot of the Asians coming. I mean, there was a big article recently in the USA Today or something like that about the influence of Asian buyers in our local market. So Chris Eckert, Kelly.